I'm extremely busy with work, so an off the cuff video about Israel striking Iran. Of course, no surprise at all. But I just want to give my view, which isn't what you would read in the papers or anybody reading the papers. Fundamentally, the problem is that Israel has no oil or energy. Oil rules the world, and it's what people have forgotten. And I've written and done videos about that elsewhere. So Israel senses, everybody sort of senses what's going on. We're sort of like a giant voting machine, like Gladwell pointed out. Anyway, so Israel's power, its economic power, has been reducing for a long time. It's reducing so much that they just stopped paying people to guard the walls around Gaza, which is why Hamas was able to do that big attack because there's really nobody guarding the wall. I mean, Israel was just cheaping out, and they put women guarding the wall. And when the women complained, they were like, they're just women, right? Because Israel is a very masochistic, whatever state. So anyway, Israel is poor. It knows it's getting poor. And Netanyahu has always had this thing about Iran because Iran is used by Israel to justify the United States giving it the weapons to make it the most powerful military in the region. Israel is like a aircraft carrier, fixed aircraft carrier, which I forget who pointed that out. And that's been true. But the United States really has been losing interest in the Middle East for the past couple of decades. So Israel has to keep pumping the narrative that no, we have to, keep an eye on these people. We have to keep a strong fist on them because we don't want to lose the oil. Like the United States, you don't want to lose the oil. But the United States hasn't been really concerned about the oil because they have the fracking really came into its own around 2010. But that is running out of steam. That is running out of oil. So I believe the U.S. is going to have a real turnover in oil production. The growth is going to stop. And the U.S. now produces a lot of oil, all the oil it needs, though it still imports some. But the fundamental thing I want to say about this is that Israel is attacking Iran based on very old geopolitical assumptions, premises, a world that doesn't exist anymore. Just like Russia attacked Ukraine based on geopolitical calculations that don't matter anymore. But remember, the leaders of these countries are old men, right? They view the world in that old geopolitical point of view. But what I believe is going to happen is they just don't fully understand, as Trump said, you don't have the cards. Well, the United States doesn't have a lot of cards either, especially the cards of overwhelming military might. The U.S. military is a paper tiger. I won't go into all of that, but Iran has been backing off and backing off because they don't want a war. I mean, what do you get out of it? They're actually sane. So, they've been backing off, but Israel just keeps putting up the pressure because, again, they want to sell the narrative that the U.S. has to keep supplying them with the weapons and the money to make them the most powerful nation in the region to keep everybody else down for U.S. Geopolitical interests. But, eventually they're going to push too far. I don't know whether it was yesterday or tomorrow or the next day or whether it's a month or 2 months from now. But nobody has enough power really to control the Middle East anymore. So I don't know which way it's going to go. And the U.S. is bankrupt. I mean, it's just completely bankrupt. I'll say the one last thing. So when you read about the deficit, remember, all dollars actually represent energy, right? I mean, what use is a dollar, right, if you can't buy something with it? And everything you buy is made by energy. No energy, nothing to buy. So when you have a deficit of $38 trillion, you're basically saying that we're going to get $38 trillion worth of energy in the future to make things to pay off the debt. But if the energy isn't there to make those things, then what do you have? You have worthless money. And of course, many people have pointed out the hyperinflation thing. And for a long time, I've always thought that's silly. Like the United States will never go into hyperinflation. And I still don't. Well, I'm much closer to believing that than ever before. So anyway, Hope you got something useful out of this. Again, ignore all the nuclear stuff like Iran is building a nuclear bomb. I've been hearing that for 20 years. For 20 years, I've been hearing in 2 weeks they're going to get the bomb. That's all nonsense for public narrative. What's really going on, again, is an Israel that recognizes that it is about to collapse, that it doesn't have the oil, it doesn't have the energy, it doesn't have the economy, its whole society is fractured for a bunch of reasons. It's going down. It's an old man going down, like flailing, like a crazy person. And the United States is another, is bigger but has the same sort of problems, is also going down. So, well, we'll see. Thanks for watching.